What is going on, guys? Let me know if you can hear me. First draft in 2 weeks. Actually, earlier today did the one draft, but I have not been able to do underdog drafts in not even 2 weeks, probably like 4 weeks. So it's been a while since we've done one of these. Again, I said I did one earlier today to kind of see where ADPs were at, but we're gonna do one live with you guys. You guys can join in. I'll post the link in a little bit. We'll see how long the first one takes. You guys can vote again if you want 2 drafts or if you want like questions and stuff like that. But let me know what you guys want to see. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if that like crackling noise is there. That was there like a few weeks ago. Hopefully that's all fine and fixed right now. But I'm going to open this one. We're going to create a private draft and we will invite you guys. Not too many people here, so you guys should have a pretty good chance of getting into this one. We'll see. Earlier today, I got the 6 pick. Didn't like it. Didn't like it that much. I hate the like 6, 7, 8, 9 kind of range. I'm just not liking it because like all those players are basically like you get through like 5, Eckler's at 6, and then it's like this Cook, Najee, Henry, Adams, Swift. It's like all this range is like the same player. So I hate getting these picks because I feel like I'm just like not getting as good as value as anyone else. Good, you guys can hear me fine. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we get in this one. Hopefully, hopefully we're at the beginning of the draft, but we'll see. If you haven't seen yet on the site, you'll see in the videos. I kind of shouted it out. I thought someone said something else. The 2 flex spot rankings, 9. Okay, 9's not terrible. The 2 flex spot rankings are up on the site. So there's 2 wide receiver rankings, there's 3 wide receiver rankings, and then there's 2 wide receiver plus 2 flex spot rankings. So please pick the right one when you're going into your draft. They do matter. There are differences in the formats and like kind of suppressing quarterback value in the 3 wide receiver and the other one, but no, I thought someone said something else again. But yeah, so those are up on the site. Please use them. It's only assuming 12 team leagues for those 2, so for 3 wide receiver and 2 wide receiver, 2 flex, but it is what it is. I don't want to like bog down the site. It's going to be super slow if we start adding in like a billion pages. So you got all the different league sizes for 2 wide receiver. The other ones is just assuming a 12-team league. There won't be like major differences. You can kind of see looking at the other format, 2 wide receiver. What? We did slow? Oh, that's a problem. That's going to be an issue for us here. I did not think that I clicked slow draft. I don't know if we can do this one, guys. We might have to post a new link in here because someone's going to sit here and take like 3 years and then we're not going to get through the draft. So unfortunately, what I'll do is I'll go back to that draft and I'll try and like make picks while we're doing this one. But we're going to have to change. Yeah. This one. I didn't see the thing. All right. We're doing it again. I apologize to the people who made it in there, but we're going to do this one. And why don't I keep up? Let's go back to Underdog. I'll keep them both up. But this is going to be the actual one. Apologies to everyone who made it into the other one. All right. We want to pull up this one. How am I going to do this? I don't know what you guys want me to do for that one, but we're going to have this one on the screen. When I'm up here, we'll make like frantic picks, but we're going to pay attention more to this one. This one better be the regular one. All right, questions. Let's get into these. How would you draft Adams or Diggs? Oh, who would you draft? PPR. Didn't I do that breakdown? I feel like I made a specific video talking about that exact combination. I'll pull up just so we can also reference them. I had half PPR up, but I'll pull up the full PPR ranking. So if you guys want to ask like duos of players, I'll have PPR up as well. Wide receiver, PPR. It is Adams by about 9 points. 9.2 points better. I would take Adams. Who is your number 1 do not draft at ADP? I mean, it depends on the format. Standard, half PPR, full PPR. Um, I don't know. I can run through like running back real quick. Let's see. I mean, Fournette right now. I haven't been on him the whole time. I think his ADP is going to drop. I got 8, so it's pretty close to what I had before. I think Fournette's going to drop in ADP, but right now I still haven't been taking him. James Conner. Dobbins, I have a little bit below ADP, but I expect that to kind of fall based on recent news. I haven't drafted like Damian Harris very much. Devin Singletary, Rashad Penny, Michael Carter. There. I'm not going to go over every position, but there's some running backs for you. CMC or Jonathan Taylor? I'm still team Jonathan Taylor. I'm on the clock. All right, we'll go this. I'm still team Jonathan Taylor because there's like a lot more like assured there. Yeah, Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook at 9 is good. I think McCaffrey's going to be fine. I think he's actually going to be like dominant this season. I think he's going to have a fantastic year. But I also think Jonathan Taylor's going to have a great year. And it's just a little bit safer going with Jonathan Taylor. And even in the projection, just coming out normally, like he just projects better. So I would still take Jonathan Taylor or McCaffrey, but I take McCaffrey too. And pretty much every format, I don't know if there's a format. Maybe the 3 wide receiver leagues, I think Cup passes Jonathan Taylor and McCaffrey. I don't remember fully. But most formats, yeah. Jonathan Taylor, then McCaffrey, then go with those like high-end running backs or high-end wide receivers. You got into the second draft? Nice. You can keep Diggs or Devonta Smith for the 6th rounder. Yeah, you're keeping Diggs. If they're the same penalty, obviously keep the one that's going in like the late first, early second round, not the one that goes in round 6 probably for Devonta Smith. All right, we're at 8. Hopefully they don't take Austin Eckler and we can get him. Otherwise, we're going with Najee or we're going with Derrick Henry. Yeah, kind of figured that would be the one that happens. I mean, we don't need to play the ADP game here because let's be honest, no one's coming around to the next round for us. I feel like I do have actually Derrick Henry below a lot of people. I don't even remember an underdog draft where I got Derrick Henry. Did I do an individual break? I think I did an individual breakdown with Henry. I'm just not on him very much this season because I'm not on the offense. I project the offense to be kind of like a lot worse than in recent years just because, like, I mean, A.J. Brown's been holding that passing attack together. Losing him with the negative reports around Burks, with Woods just joining the team now, like, I don't love the offense in general. And so if I think they score fewer points, get fewer yards, like that all negatively impacts Henry, who's obviously still a first-round pick. I just have him a few spots below ADP. And whenever that happens in the first round, you're not going to get someone as much because people tend to stick pretty much with ADPs. And if I have him a few spots back, there's most drafts I'm just not going to end up getting him. I should see what my, like, on the clock again. All right, what do we got here? So we've got Dalvin Cook. We'll come over here. We could take Kelsey, 2nd round. We could take CeeDee Lamb. Those are probably our only 2 options. I would say Kelsey at 16. It's really nice value. So we've got Dalvin Cook and Kelsey over on this team. We're 4 picks away. We're going to try and do this absolutely most. Why don't you like Fournette? Just because I really think Rachaad White's like a talented player. And I think it's going to be tough for them to keep him off the field. I think they're going to specialize him in like passing downs. And it has nothing to do with this like weight thing. That is no concern to me. It's just that, like, I just think White's good. And if I thought, if he was like Brian Robinson, I might feel differently. But I think White's good. And so I think he's going to take a lot of touches. And I just think he goes a little bit too early for the amount of touches I'm expecting White to get. So in this draft, we've got Najee Harris. All right. Joe Mixon would be nice to do, pairing with Najee. I'd be pretty surprised if this team didn't take him or if this team didn't take him. So unlikely we get him. So we'd have the option of CeeDee Lamb or I suppose Mark Andrews. This would be like right at the beginning of where I'd be comfortable with Andrews in this format. So I'd prefer not to. Thank you for making that decision easier. We'll take CeeDee Lamb. I like to start in both of these drafts. So in draft number 1, we've got Dalvin Cook and we've got Travis Kelce. In draft number 2, Najee Harris, CeeDee Lamb. Neither one of them going the double running back build. Please remember, whenever I talk about double running back builds, I'm talking about you can do it in Underdog. But when I'm saying, oh wait, have you guys seen that video? Wednesday. I feel like tomorrow I'm going to talk about the double running back build a little bit in the video. But double running back is really, really, really sharp to do in redraft leagues. Totally fine in Underdog. It's just not as important. Like you can avoid picking your second running back for a while in Underdog, and it's totally fine. So differences in the two formats there. Other questions. 14-man PPR should I be looking at with the 14th pick? Just the rankings. Just follow the rankings. First round's easy. You just take the top projected player for the most part, and especially if you're at the turn, you can't really play the ADP game at that, which can kind of be unfortunate. So people who are like, let's pull up here, people who are drafting at this 12-13 turn, they can't ever play the ADP game. Whereas like, let's just say with Najee, I had Saquon projected phenomenally next best pick. Well, I shouldn't take Saquon at 8 because there's actually a decent chance that I can get him at 17. When you're at 12 and 13, you got to just every time take the top projected player, and that over time kind of leads to fewer opportunities you have to secure value. You can't take any chances because there's a billion picks that go by. You're not going to get that person. And so sometimes you can just get like less value. So that's the one positive with like mid first round picks is that you have more of those opportunities to try and get better value. But everyone needs to remember this is the start. You guys did it correctly. That's the start to the drafts. And those picks are the most valuable because we see a drop off into the talent of these players. And sometimes this pick can be difficult because you're getting pretty much the same value over here, but a better second round pick. So with our next pick, basically just going best available. Had I not drafted a running back, I'd consider it. But we're not going to, Pitts. I guess Pitts would be an option for us. But if Pitts isn't there, we're not going to go with a tight end. We can look at Josh Allen if he's there. This is a very, very common spot to take a wide receiver. I would love A.J. Brown, Michael Pittman Jr., even DJ Moore. Like all those players would be lovely. 5 picks away. I think it's likely we get one of them. Although, maybe not. I didn't think Higgins, Allen, Pittman, Brown. We're going to see DJ Moore come off the board right here. Would I take Allen? I would prefer not to. I know he'd be the best pick there, but I'd prefer not to take him. Oh, my wide receivers. I'll pull up the draft board in a second. You guys can see oh my goodness. Wow. Maybe we will end up with Pitts. Take Pitts at ADP. That's a tough one. I don't think I want to take Sutton here. Pitts go. Oh my goodness, guys. Okay. That stinks. So Josh Allen's an option. I don't want to go with Akers. I could go with Etienne, but it's not a huge value here. Sutton, not a great value. That stinks that we just missed out on all these players. So I was considering right there going with Kamara with that pick. I know he's a little bit down in the rankings, but Kamara wouldn't have been a bad pick for me. I don't like that pick at all. It's just that there was nothing. I mean, there was no value at all. I guess technically Josh Allen was the value. So people comment sometimes, they're like, why take Josh Allen if you don't have Diggs? Well, because you can pair him with a billion other guys. I could pair him with Gabriel Davis, with Dawson Knox. If I wanted to, really late with Shakir, I'd probably go with Isaiah McKenzie instead. But there's other options you can do. And also he could just end up being the best pick and not necessarily be stacked with anyone. He could run in a touchdown, throw for 3 more touchdowns, all the different players, and you don't necessarily need the stacking partner. And it's much less important in this format where I'm just playing you guys. Obviously, there's no massive prize pool here. If you're joining Best Ball Mania 3, you're joining the puppies, which I believe the next puppy is dropping August 1st. It's going to be a massive one. Those you need to stack. This you should, but it's not as vital to do. Yeah, you guys wanted me to go Etienne? Well, yeah, I know he's less valuable technically in half PPR formats because all that value is coming in the receiving game. I don't know. I think you could have gone with Josh Allen, Etienne, or Kamara with that pick. I'd have been fine with any of them. At this one, I'd love to get Sutton. I don't think that's going to end up happening. I might go with a second wide receiver. There's no value at receiver either. You guys are hammering the position. I'll pull it up this time, I promise. I didn't pull it up last time. I don't want to go with Waller. I'd really prefer not to. Ugh. You guys are hammering wide receiver. This guy doesn't even have one. He has 2 tight ends. Okay, we're going to have to take a look at this team. Definitely not ideal grabbing both of them ahead of ADP to pair with a running back I don't like. But we'll circle back and absolutely look at that team because many of you ask about like the bully tight end strategy. Draft Waller, do it. I dare you. No, what did you go with? You want Breece Hall? Yeah, it's like, ugh, I hate this. I'm not gonna get both of these players. Thinking who like benefits my team a little bit more. I don't even love the upside of Deontay Johnson. Like even weekly, I don't know how much upside he has. I feel like I think I'd rather just go with Akers. Ugh. I'm not in love with the start to our draft right now. We're 5 picks away in the other one. Maybe that one will end up being a better team for us. But yeah, we got Najee and Akers at running back, which is a fine duo. CeeDee Lamb wide receiver, Josh Allen quarterback. We are going to have to find a stacking partner. Should I have just drafted Gabriel Davis there? Maybe that was the intelligent move. 40. Yeah, I probably should have done that, but I feel like what it is I have him relatively low in the rankings compared to ADP. People are getting mighty aggressive drafting Gabriel Davis right now. It's just a tough spot for him. I guess I could have forced that stack, but it's way, way, way ahead of where I have it projected. I would prefer that just falls to me. So maybe we kind of target Dawson Knox to try and ensure we have this stack. But yeah, look at these wide receivers. We got a team here that's got Kupp, Debo, A.J. Brown, and Deontay, which is a sick wide receiver core. So let's take a look at the end of the draft, see how they turn out, and see how this team turns out. Those are definitely 2 we want to pay attention to. Looks like we got a few people going with like double running back and triple running back, and then likely going to hammer wide receiver. So we're going to see even more wide receivers just fly off the boards in these next few rounds. That needs to be in consideration for us, because we can't wait like too long. I know we have Lamb, and Lamb was a really, really good value, but I mean, you guys know the builds I like. I typically like drafting like 8, 9, 10 wide receivers. A lot of these guys are going to be flying off the board soon. So hopefully with our next pick, we can get a solid value there. I'll pull this up until our pick comes across. It's 100% pronounced ETN. I don't think it is. I have looked this up, and I've seen it pronounced every single way, but I've looked it up from like multiple sources, and it's supposed to be pronounced Etienne. So I don't know. I don't know who's right. I need him to say it, but I've seen from multiple sources that it's Etienne. We're just going to go with that for now. I apologize if Travis is listening to this and he's furious. Would you have taken Zeke there in redraft over Allen? I would not have taken Allen in a redraft league. Definitely not. Oh, someone asked me this in the Discord, and I thought it was a really good question. They said, doing underdog drafts prepare you for like your most important redraft draft? And my answer is like yes and no. Yes, because you're drafting the people who are paying attention and like are at stakes. So it's like, it's much better than like a simulator. It's much better than like just joining a random lobby. Like it's only $3 right now to join like a higher stakes one if you want to, but like it's at stakes. You're practicing being on the clock. You're practicing the whole draft process, again, at stakes, which is like an important thing to consider. But no, in the sense that like I wouldn't have taken Josh Allen here. And people are going to go for stacks and maybe reach for players. And also running backs. Running backs are going to like come off the board early. And there's going to be a huge gap in the middle rounds because everyone knows you only need like 4 or 5 running backs in Underdog. But that's not the case in redraft. So these later end running backs that you think are going to be there are not there in redraft leagues. Redraft, those late running backs get pushed up a little bit. So it's still a positive. Like, you're not going to do yourself harm by doing underdog drafts. And it will help you out again with like understanding how to build your team out, understanding where players are going compared to each other and stuff like that. But sometimes positional value is different. So make sure you're still doing like mock drafts on the site you're drafting for under the settings that you're drafting for. Hope that makes sense. We got lucky here, I think, getting gifted DK Metcalf, a physical freak. He's had dominant games even without Russell Wilson there. I haven't taken a look at the Seattle projection recently. I don't typically get DK Metcalf, and I feel like it's because a lot of people are using the rankings right now and he just became like a really good value. But he's one of those players where it's like you have some like mediocre wide receiver and they get a worse quarterback and now they stink, right? But Metcalf, he can take a 5-yard screen to the house on any play. And so while it's an obvious downgrade, the late 5th round is not even close to where you'd be going with Wilson. So yes, downgrade, but they're going to be losing a ton. I don't know. I still am perfectly fine drafting DK Metcalf because he can just out-physical anyone, and they're going to have to throw it sometimes. I know they're going to be like super slow, super terrible, super run heavy. I don't like want to attack this passing attack, but it's the late 5th round, and it's DK Metcalf, so that's how I justify that pick. But I say we got lucky because if we didn't get him, I would have been fine with like him under St. Brown, but it would have definitely been like a slight downgrade there. And if I didn't go wide receiver with that pick, I mean, again, I expect wide receiver, as you can see here, to dry up very quickly. There's only a few more that we're really like attacking here. In terms of quarterback stacks, it doesn't look like we've started any. They're going to be any good. We're not taking the Pittsburgh quarterback. Dak's off the board, right? Oh, he's not off the board. Okay, so Dak's going to be in consideration, but not at this pick. What's our pick after that? 80? 80 and 89. You always want to get a value through quarterbacks. So like 80, 89 is when we're going to look at Dak. We're not going quarterback with this pick. We're not going tight end either. So we're only looking at running back and wide receiver. A few that I really like come off the board. Russell Gage, you guys know I love this season. He's an obvious value here. I think we're totally fine to wait on running back. So let's just lock up Russell Gage. I don't really think there's like much to consider there. Hunter Renfrow is also a good pick. Drake London's fine, but people are drafting wide receiver very, very early right now. Is there going to be... Yeah, like we said, these teams started off running back and we're getting all these wide receivers here. I'm wondering if there's going to be a mini running back run here. I'm hoping not, because I'd like to get one of these running backs that are like next up in the rankings with this next pick. And if we could go with like running back with the next one and then maybe still get Dak after that, that'd be really good. If we don't get Dak, we have Brady as an option with Gage, and we technically have Stafford as an option with Akers. So, questions. Let's see. Coach wants Justin Jefferson to have a cup role this year. I mean, like, sort of. It's absolutely possible. Like, I don't want to ever say that someone's going to have a cup year. I mean, it was like the single greatest season in like football history for a receiver. Oh, there goes the running back run sick. So expecting someone to do that again is wishful thinking. But in the sense that Justin Jefferson's going to be like the featured weapon in this passing attack and everything's going to flow through him, plays going to be scripted specifically to him. Yeah, I know. I think Jefferson's going to have like a nuclear season. Like, he's going to be so incredibly good this year. So I agree with that sense. Just let's be careful thinking he's going to have like 1 billion receiving yards. Like, he's going to be awesome. He's probably not going to have like 1,900 yards or whatever crazy number that Kupp had last year. And also, they're like a little bit different receivers. Kupp had like a 99th percentile success rate against zone coverage, something absurd like that. Jefferson is a man beater. I mean, you line him up against anyone, he's going to shred them. So just different like types of players. And so when that's the case, you have different sorts of like plays, I guess, that are being scripted to them. So it's not the exact same parallel, but in the sense that like they're both going to be used very heavily. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Jefferson is the number 1 most valuable player in fantasy this season. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Now, would I guess it would? No, I think the rankings. I think Jonathan Taylor and McCaffrey are going to be more valuable. But if you told me at the end of the season that Jefferson was the most valuable player in all of fantasy, I'd be like, that makes sense to me. Like he had 1,800 yards and like 16 touchdowns. Yeah, we probably should have seen that coming. We're closing in. 6 picks away from our next one. I'll pull this up and you guys can like take a look a little bit. How's our buddy doing that drafted 2 tight ends? Kelsey Andrews. So his only wide receiver right now is Elijah Moore. He's going to be very, very thin there. So here's my first take as far as like what's going to happen here. If you had gotten Kelsey, I don't even know how this would work out. If you, like, I'm trying to think of a scenario where we get them both at value. If something weird happens to where you get them in the 2nd and 3rd round, I guess, like you got them at like 22 and 27, something stupid. I don't even know how it would happen. That's awesome. Reaching on both of them is so tough because what if we're going to have weeks where they score like 15 and 17 and it's like, sure, you get to use them in the flex, but it was like so much easier for you to get those points at other positions later in the draft. And so it's kind of like wasted. I don't know. It's just too early. I don't think it's going to end up working. 80. Basically all the running backs we wanted are gone. Only Miles Sanders remains. So Sanders is an option. Go with Drake London. I don't know. I haven't been really drafting him that much. I feel like I'd rather just go with Miles Sanders. I know everyone like hates Miles Sanders and the role is obviously not going to be what we want it to be. We want Miles Sanders to be a feature back. Like that's what we want, but it's not going to happen. They're going to have Gainwell in the passing game. Excuse me. They're probably going to bring in a running back to use at the goal line. So it's going to be that same annoying situation, but he's still going to be awesome because they're going to score a ton of points. It's going to be a great offense. So I'm not concerned about him. And it's like, this is the late 7th round, you know, he used to be a 3rd round pick. And then I think when he was like a 5th round pick, he like beat that ADP. So he's like had really good seasons. It's just been kind of those injuries that have been very, very unfortunate for him. But doing that also, we got Harris, we got Akers, we got Sanders. If our next running back we have any sort of confidence in, whether that's a Hines, a Gus Edwards, even like Isaiah Spiller, Rashad White, any sort of confidence in especially the receiving role, we're probably only going to draft 4 running backs in this draft. And that's going to help us everywhere else. Moving on over to draft number 2. We're on the clock here. Dalvin Cook, Travis Kelce. I like this start a little bit more. At 33. We're 2 picks away in the other one. We'll probably come back to this one. Our options are not Pitts because we're not going to go with Bully. DJ Moore. We're not going to go Cam Akers. That's our pick, DJ Moore. I was going to do more analysis there, but Dalvin Cook, DJ Moore, Travis Kelce. I like that start more than the one that we had in this one. Did someone draft Dak Prescott? Come on. Did you even stack him with anyone? Didn't even stack him yet. That's upsetting. All right, so we're up in a second. We're at pick 89. Tony's a great pick here. There he goes. We don't have a tight end in this one, right? So Hawk's an option, although we wanted to go with Knox probably at our next pick. We could take Pollard and just be done. What if we did that? I might do that. Now, slight issue having 2 week 9s and 2 week 7 buys. It is fine. That is absolutely okay for us to have if everyone's healthy. It'll be a problem if we have Najee and Pollard on bye, Akers hurt, only Miles Sanders. We're only getting 1 point for that running back spot. So it can be an issue. In the grand scheme of things, given how much we invested in this position, given how confident I am in every single one, like I know I made the video about he's most likely to bust in the first round in like a redraft league, just given that like, I think at the time he was going like 6th overall, moved back a little bit in ADP since then, but we know he's going to produce. We know he's going to put up relatively consistent numbers. I know Akers is going to produce. Sanders will be fine. Pollard's going to be that like consistent, like decent option with a ton of upside. For this team in this format, Underdog, best ball, it's best to just stick with these 4. So we're not going to go with running back for the rest of the draft. We're going to continue wide receiver. I feel very thin there, but again, it's okay. Definitely in my mind right now is quarterback is for sure going to be an afterthought. We're going to take that way late because we're assuming Josh Allen is having a dominant season if he's paying off this ADP. We're taking 2 quarterbacks. We have our 4 running backs. We're probably going to end up taking 10 wide receivers just to make up for not having capital at this position. Had we gone with like Lamb and then another receiver early on, we could consider like a triple late tight end build. But we kind of need at this point, because we have such little capital invested at the wide receiver position, we're going to need 10 of them. So I want to draft 2 tight ends, and that means I want to do it now. So coming up here at 104, hoping Knox is there. If not, unfortunately, we're probably going to have to go with like Goddard or Ertz, and it'd be wonderful if we get 2 of them. But we're going to have to start attacking tight end, because if we're only going 2 of them, well, we don't want to do it really, really late in the draft. And again, it'll be fine, because if you just stack a bunch of mediocre receivers, they're going to have spikes in random weeks, and they're going to together come up with that production. So if we're making this decision to wait on the position, we got to go all in. We got to draft 10 of them, and we're going to take 2 of the tight ends. But we'll see which 2 we end up getting. Hopefully it is solid ones. Do you think there's a chance Marvin Jones repeats his high target volume from last year, but is more efficient with improved Trevor Lawrence? What was his target share? I'll do a quick search on that so I don't give something like some stupid result. I swear, this guy's already... who did he take from me? He took someone from me. Oh, no, he didn't. Okay. Oh, no. He took Kyle Pitts kind of from me. I think it was this one. He took Kadarius Toney from me. Yeah. I'm just saying, don't take. Thank God. All right, we got Dawson Knox, guys. All is well in the world. We've got our stack at 104, pick 104.0. We're perfectly doing ADP. I'm definitely going to sneeze soon, so... Oh, it might be going away. All right. What was I looking up? I was looking up the target share of who? Oh, Marvin Jones. All right, Marvin Jones. We'll load him up. Target share last season, 20% with a 30.8% red zone share. And that's aggressive. Let's pull up Jacksonville projections. No, he's not going to have a 20% target share. That's aggressive. Like, they bring in Christian Kirk. They pay him $1 billion. Like, sure, Marvin Jones can be the 2, but Kirk's going to have his. Travis Etienne's going to have his. Zay Jones, they paid, is going to be used. I'm curious if they cut LaVisca. I still don't understand why he's on the roster right now. But Ingram's going to be used. Like, for Marvin Jones to increase his target share, that's asking a lot. Now, the efficiency part, absolutely. I think that Marvin Jones is going to increase his efficiency. The touchdowns is always random. Like, I don't want to say he's going to have like an efficient touchdown season, but yeah, I think this Jaguars offense is going to surprise people with how much better they are. They will not be like an elite offense, and they're probably not going to finish like top 13, top 15 even, but I think they can be around that like 15 to 17 range, maybe get lucky, like really lucky in the year and end up like top 15, like barely, but that's going to look so much different from last year because they were so unbelievably bad last year. And so, yes, I think he can be more efficient, but not keep the same target share. Didn't Miles Sanders have like 0 touchdowns last year? Pretty hard to get behind that. Yeah, he had 0 touchdowns last year, but that's not going to happen again, given the exact same volume. He got very unlucky. He had touches in the red zone. I think I talked about in a video. It's probably like a month ago at this point, but just comparing like the red zone touches, like they do pull him out when they get very close, but for the amount of red zone touches that he had, the amount of usage he had last season, it was obviously unlucky for any player not to score a touchdown. Also think the offense was just like putrid at times last year. They're going to be a lot better this season, going to be more efficient. A.J. Brown, like, it's going to be a good offense. You're going to want pieces on that offense. And again, it's the late 7th round. Look at the other options in the late 7th round. It's not too great. It's mostly backups. He's at least a starter. Okay. We're probably going wide receiver here, right? I don't see any sort of stacks we need to make at the quarterback position. All right, we're going with the wide receiver. Playing the ADP game, we should probably grab Tyler Boyd. Everyone else, we might be able to get at the next pick. Chase Claypool. I just don't like Claypool, so I don't think I'm going to go with him. Yeah, I'll take Tyler Boyd. He'll be a consistent option. That's not a bad pick for us. He's going to just consistently be solid for us. That is always nice to have when we have, let's be honest, Metcalf's going to be very up and down this season. He's going to have weeks where he has like 3 for 30. So we can have a Boyd in here getting us consistent production, especially because the rest of these picks are probably going to be more ceiling plays, more players who are not getting consistent targets but can spike for touchdowns. So, and Boyd's just good. He's on a good offense. You want to have Bengals players this season. The offensive line greatly improved. We're going to have Burrow feeling the best he's probably felt as a pro so far. You want the Bengals. The Bengals are going to be really, really good. Obviously, extra upside if Chase or Higgins were to get injured. We don't wish injuries, but it's at least upside that could end up happening. What rookie running back would you have the most confidence in a breakout or having a large role this season? It was specific to running backs, right, that question? Yeah, okay. I will check. Do I have a... Okay. I'm gonna pull up the rookie running back so I don't just like skip out on someone. Well, Breece Hall obviously is going to have a massive role. He'll probably have like the largest role of any rookie. I feel confident that James Cook will have a receiving role. I feel no confidence in his early down role. I have confidence that Spiller will be the backup, but I mean, that's not like a huge, it's a good role. He'll have every week. He's going to have carries, going to have like some targets, going to have some goal line work because like Eckler himself has said he wants the backup to take work so he can play longer in his career and stay healthy. Makes all the sense in the world. So I have confidence that that'll happen. After that, zero confidence. I have no confidence in like Davis Price, Brian Robinson, Damian Pierce, Zamir White. Those are all flyers. Even Rashad White, like I think he's very talented. I have no confidence in saying that he's going to have a massive role. Fournette could absolutely still be the feature back this season. So it's really Isaiah Spiller, James Cook, and Breece Hall. Those are the ones I have the most confidence in. And Kenneth Walker, I have confidence that like he'll eventually be a really, really good player, that he's going to have like, I bet you Kenneth Walker has 3 top 15 running back seasons in him. I feel pretty confident in that statement, but no confidence it happens this year because I don't think we can really say we have confidence in Seattle. Like I took DK Metcalf because he's out of value and because he's DK Metcalf. But if you told me that no one on Seattle this season really helped you get to the championship, I wouldn't be shocked by that statement. Okay, at 128, we're not looking great. Wide receivers have definitely gone earlier in this draft than on average. Don't even see a fantastic value. Well, probably, I don't want to take, I mean, I like Dotson, I like Jameson Williams, but I don't prefer not to take them here. No running back. Quarterback Fields the value. There's no stacking partner. There's no reason for us to take them. We're looking tight end, but there's no tight end options here. I'm not going tight end. We're just going to take top wide receiver, I think. Yeah. We'll just take Dotson. Someone is definitely going to take him before my next pick. There's no way you guys let me get him at 137. Tough spot. Again, we want another tight end that we feel confident in that does not have a week 7 bye. It looks like only Higbee is one we have to watch out for here. So that's good. Because we're only drafting 2 and we're drafting a billion wide receivers because our wide receiver, of course, stinks. Lamb, Metcalf, Gage is good, but Boyd and Dotson is not good. So I hate how this team is so far worked out. We're one pick away in the other one. I'll pull up the draft board here. You guys can see who's going off the clock. Which 2 rookie wide receivers do you find yourself drafting the most? Mine are Olave Burks and then David Bell Wandale. Yeah, I would guess. I'll pull up rookie wide receiver. I'm pretty sure. I looked today in Underdog. Wando Robinson is my most drafted player, and I have the most money on him of any player, which is like frightening. I don't typically draft Drake London. I haven't been getting Burks, although soon I think is going to be the best time to get Burks. Where'd he go in this one? He went early? Did he go? I didn't even see him. Oh, okay, there he is. 7-9. I don't know what his ADP was. Sealy here? Ugh, come on. He went at 103, ADP 95, just because you guys all watch the content. Okay, so 95. Last week he was 90. So I said, I think right now is probably the best time of the season. I said that last week when he was at 90. I thought he would approach 100. I'm not sure he'll ever get past 100. Then once camps open, I think he's going to go back up, maybe even into like the top 80. So right now is the best time to get him, but I haven't been drafting him. I'll answer the rest of that question in a second. Oh my goodness. No values. Okay, so here's what part of me is thinking. Part of me wants to draft Myers and to do a Myers, Mac Jones, Kendrick Bourne stack as our other option here. Another player that is probably not posting spiked weeks, so it's somewhat of a problem. It was good enough to get him ADP. That's going to help us. At this, I mean, we want players who can post spike weeks at this point, but I'm seeing. I mean, Kendrick Bourne is being like just severely undervalued this season, but I think we're going to be able to get him and get Mac Jones. Where's Mac Jones? 169. Bourne's at 188. That would be... So we're hoping one more can go by. We'll take Mac Jones at 161. Okay, so 14th round for Mac Jones. 15th round for Kendrick Bourne. Probably just another wide receiver with this pick, unless there's a tight end value. That's probably what we're doing. So wide receiver, tight end, that'll be what we're considering there. Rest of that question, I don't get much Garrett Wilson because I think Elijah Moore is awesome, and I think he ends up being really good this season. I get a ton of Jahan Dotson. I get Jameson Williams, especially with his ADP dropping recently. More in this format, though. I love Jameson Williams in Underdog. In redraft, it's a little bit tough because you're not going to have him for a while and you think you can get him on free agency. This draft time, there's a draft board for you guys. I'm on the clock. Dalvin Cook, Travis Kelce, DJ Moore. We are at pick 40. Sutton's a value. That's probably all we're considering there. We could go with Akers. It's a while for our next one. We're probably not going to get those running backs. We already have Dalvin Cook. I kind of want Sutton here. Let's grab Sutton. I like that start. All right. Pull this back up for you guys. Back to the rookie question. Yeah, I get Dotson. I get Jameson Williams. More an Underdog than redraft. I don't get Sky Moore that much. I don't get Olave that much. I don't get Christian Watson that much. I get Jalen Tolbert sometimes, not a whole lot. Wandale I get a ton of. Pickens I'll get occasionally. He's become a value recently. I get a ton of David Bell. No Pierce, no Velus, however you say it. Tyquan Thornton sometimes, like the last round on Underdog. No Mechie. I pretty much don't draft Justin Ross right now. Until we get reports that he's dominating in camp, it's just we don't need to do it. Kyle Phillips, I think he surprises people, but like there's no upside in drafting Kyle Phillips. So that's the answer there. Oh, the Mac Jones will give you it. That is correct. So if I stack Mac Jones with the Bills, I got 2 correlated games where we can post spikes. Again, it's not as important when we're doing like just you guys. Just try and draft the best players. If we're doing the other ones, the big tournaments, it's super important. Myers over Parker. I don't really know. I don't know. I have that as the projection, yes. Let's pull up New England. Honestly, I like Bourne more than any of them, but Bourne goes so late because no one respects him that that's really the answer. I have Myers with the highest target share, but then Parker with a much higher like touchdown share. In terms of half PPR projections, it is technically Parker by 0.1. I think what it comes down to is like, honestly, I think Myers is just like a better player than Parker, but it doesn't matter. Whichever one you want. I don't think there's a huge difference there. We didn't draft. Okay, we have like 4 seconds. Is there a tight end value? At 150, we could grab Tanya. I don't know when he's going to be healthy, but I should queue him up just in case. There's no wide receivers I need here. Okay. I don't think that's a bad option because even if he's, let's say, good to go in week 4, something like that happens, I feel fine having Dawson Knox to start the season as my only tight end. And I feel good about Knox and Tunyon as a combination once Tunyon's back because they're both touchdown scorers. And you're hoping that they alternate the touchdowns, that even if they both have like 8, that they're coming in different weeks and you're getting, bye. I don't feel confident in that tight end core. Like I'd very much prefer late in the draft to grab like a Molly Cox, a Logan Thomas, I don't know, like a Trey McBride, a Conklin maybe. But I don't know that I can because I just need more wide receivers. This wide receiver core stinks. This is one of the worst wide receiver teams that I've drafted. Now, to be fair, it's because I've invested heavily at the running back position. Harris, Akers, Sanders, and Pollard. Like, it's not necessarily that I went like all out at the position. It's that I took my first round pick. What was Akers, like the 4th round pick, and then 2 mid round picks that are usually wide receiver. So only going 3 wide receivers in the first 9 rounds, and I'm thin there. 1 billion tight ends just went off the board. After I took Tunyon, we see Corey Davis, and then Alberto, Everett, Fant, Robbie Anderson, and then Higbee. That's interesting. I don't know why there was a huge run there. I don't know why. I guess it's fine, but Gesicki, Everett, Higbee. That team's okay, but it's not that great. Again, we need to revisit our friends. Okay. Like, I think Daniel Jones is such a better pick, but we have to go with our stack here. And I can't draft the other one. Okay. Take Mac. A little bit of a reach, but at round 14, I don't think that happens. 12-team Dynasty, 1 quarterback PPR. Lamb, Pitts, and Boyd, or Higgins, Saquon, Kmet. Top 3 2023 first round pick. My goodness. Okay. Lamb and Higgins are like relatively comparable. Pitts is way more valuable than Saquon. Boyd, top 3 2023 first is like super valuable though. Like that's a lot. You guys should help him out here. People vote on Peyton over there. But vote on that dynasty question. What do you guys think? My gut says that 2023 first, if it's, I don't know why you're saying it's secured top 3. I don't know if like that just means the team's awful and it's definitely going to be top 3. Like that's a valuable pick. It's going to be a really good draft class. That's going to be valuable. I think Higgins is close to value with Lamb. It's just Pitts that's throwing me off. Pitts is an insane value. My gut is telling me I would rather have the Higgins, Saquon, Kmet top 3 2023 first. But my answer is not that unless you're like assuring me it's that good. Like if there's even a chance it ends up being like a late first round pick, I'm keeping Pitts and Lamb. They're like too valuable. But if you're assuring me a top 3 first round pick, I might go with that one. That's my lean. You guys should help him out. Comment section here. Gage or Elijah Moore? I'm going to answer it for half PPR because that's what's on the page. Gage by 1.8. So pretty much a tie. Just do whichever one you like more there. I think I agree with that. Gage is still being undervalued. I think they're both being undervalued. I think Elijah Moore is so much better than the public gives him credit for. And if Zach Wilson makes any sort of improvement, I mean, sky's the limit for Elijah Moore. I think people are very scared because of Garrett Wilson, but I'm not. Cue up Bourne here. I lost my train of thought. And then Gage, like it's just such a lock that this team's going to throw it a ton. That if Godwin's slow to recover, it's like you can't give, Mike Evans a billion targets. Like Gage is he's such a lock. He's such a lock to do well this season. So I'd rather have the Gage side. Rookie wide receiver rankings ? Well, look on the site, and I have rankings on the site. I don't know. Does that mean Dynasty? Does that mean redraft? You like the team in the third spot? All right. So they grab Jefferson to start. Wide receiver core, Jefferson, Pittman, Cooks, nice. Lazard, Kenny Galladay, Mecole, Nico, Alec Pierce. All right. Totally fine with that. Wide quarterbacks, Kyler. Kyler is stacked with Zach Ertz. I don't believe a wide receiver, so that's fine. Nick Chubb, Dave Montgomery, Chase Edmonds, Ronald Jones. Yep, that's a good team. I'll say like Alec Pierce isn't someone I'm like super on this season. Nico Collins, I'm not super on this season. Mecole, I just think he's a bust. Matt Ryan, I think was a good pick, and I think stacking him with Pierce makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I like the team as well. I'm looking at team 4 here because I was curious how that was going to turn out. Cup, Debo, AJ Brown, and Deontay Johnson to start. Mahomes with MVS, nice. That's probably a good value on Mahomes. AJ Dillon, Antonio Gibson, Melvin Gordon, James Cook, James Robinson. I like that. Obviously, it's not going to compare to like a lot of other running back cores, but like you started in the 6th round. I think you did a great job there. Cole Kmet, Hunter. Yeah, it's a good team. Team right here. I can't even like read the name. But no, that's a good team. I have a feeling that Gludier over here, I'm not going to approve of the team. But they're doing a good job. They're drafting a billion tight ends here, or a billion wide receivers off of their double tight end. We'll see what ends up happening. I haven't been paying attention because we knew what was going to happen with our pick. We're just 3 wide receivers, right? Oh, yeah. So we're just wide receiver the rest of the way. Ugh. It's going to be gross. Okay. Isaiah McKenzie makes the most sense for us. It adds to our stack. Now we have Josh Allen with Dawson Knox with Isaiah McKenzie. I know that he's going to remain in that like gadget role this season. I know they have Shakir, but it's the 16th round. That gadget role is still going to have like a few weeks where he has really solid production. And I'm really just looking for like 2. I mean, at this point in the draft, I'm looking for like barely any. And I feel like, I don't know. I get that they don't want to play him a ton, but like he's a really good player. I don't understand why they don't use him more. He's really good. And apparently he's been dominating camp. Like he was doing really well. We'll see if those reports continue when actual camp happens, which is I think the 26th. So I think next Tuesday is when like that's going to be an interesting stream because that's going to be like the first day of camp's opening. I bet you we're just going to get like a million tweets of news from different beat reporters. So that's going to be kind of wild to like keep track of, but be interesting. There'll be a lot of news coming out then. How do I feel about the Jets offense this next season? Holland Moore in particular. Yeah, those are the 2 that you pointed out. And actually Conklin late, I think people are underrating how good Conklin can be. Just because like people saw Uzomah perform well in the last time that they saw him before the injury, but that was on a much different offense. And it was kind of a necessity that he was playing at tight end, like getting featured, Conklin's probably the better receiving talent. And that's what they talked about so far in the offseason was that like he was, when he was playing, doing really well and was probably going to be used over Conklin or over Uzomah. So Conklin going incredibly late. Like, I think he's someone you can target even in a redraft league if you want to wait super late as your like second tight end. But yeah, Breece Hall, I like this season, going to have a great year. Elijah Moore going to have a phenomenal season. I don't know if I have as much confidence in like Corey Davis and like Garrett Wilson. I just don't believe in them all that much. I believe in Garrett Wilson long term because this year they're only going to be so good, you know. Goff or Jones, unless you're doing a stack for the Lions, you're taking Daniel Jones there. Unless that means Mac Jones, in which case, I don't even know. I can pull up. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's Mac Jones, but no, actually Goff. I project Goff better than Mac Jones, but I guess I don't know which Jones you were talking about in that one. If it is Daniel Jones, I prefer Daniel Jones like pretty significantly over Jared Goff. Only took Mikol because he fell off the planet. Same with, oh yeah. That's going to happen. Hey, when you join these streams, a lot of people here are using the rankings. And if I tank someone in the rankings, you're going to get very, very good values for players that I don't like. It's just going to happen. Half the time in these drafts, I draft players I don't even like that much because you guys just refuse to draft them, and then they get to become value. Like that's what happened with Myth Metcalf. I never get him. But you guys didn't feel like drafting him, so I took him. Who do we want here? I'm just looking for like weekly upside. So Tyquan Thornton has weekly upside. DPJ is weekly upside. Oh my goodness, it's my turn. Oh, let's just go for it. Let's just take Tyquan. Any touchdown, we're stacking with Mac Jones. So if Mac Jones has a 3-touchdown day, unless it's all going to Devonta Parker, I have the stack. We've got Myers, we've got Bourne, we've got Tyquan. And honestly, this can just be a bet on like the New England offense. If New England as a team is good this season, and if they trust Mac Jones more, they use him more than last season, which is probably going to happen, then it'll end up being all these players will be undervalued. But I said, especially the one takeaway here is that Bourne is being undervalued a lot. Try and get as much Bourne as you can because he's so cheap. 188, that means sometimes you get him at like 200. That's free. At this point, ADPs don't matter very much. Just draft the players you want, and oh my goodness, they're going to use Bourne. He's going to be good. Other players who have upside. So Jalen Guyton has weekly upside. Gosh, it's just so gross down here. But we have to do it, right? I mean, I don't trust this wide receiver core, so I'm just throwing things at the wall, seeing who can stick at wide receiver. I think I feel good enough about this, definitely. I feel good enough about those receivers. I'm just like, yeah, I'm checking. Okay, I feel good enough about it. But yeah, DPJ and Guyton are like the two I'd want. We'll probably end up with one of them. I guess technically Velocir could be okay. He's an older rookie, so you'd expect not as much of like a learning curve for him. But I don't think he's very good talent, so that's a problem. There's no one else. So I'm taking one of DPJ or Guyton. Hopefully they don't both go at the next one. 11 picks away in the other one. Do I think Julio Jones plays this year? Yeah, has Julio and like Fuller? All right, Fuller got drafted. Julio got drafted. I do. I don't know if he'll be any good, and I have no idea what team he's going to, but I do think so. If I had to guess, he'd go to the Ravens. Who do I want between... I mean, I still don't buy that Watson doesn't get suspended for the full year, in which case I don't want DPJ as much as Guyton. Yeah, I'd rather Guyton. Because what if people are wrong? Everyone thinks that Palmer's the guy, and he probably is the guy, the number 3. What if Guyton has a really good offseason, which apparently he did. He was performing well. We'll see what happens again in a week, or I guess the next 3 weeks. But what if Guyton is actually the number 3, and you're getting him at 209? Yeah, that's upside. So I hate the team. Let's do this. Can you guys see that? I'll see when it pops up. The streams are super delayed. Don't like the team. Again, Najee Harris, Cam Akers, Miles Sanders, Tony Pollard. It's a great running back court. That's fine. Josh Allen and Mac Jones, that's totally fine, especially we got the Josh Allen with multiple stacking partners, Isaiah McKenzie and Dawson Knox. And then we got Mac Jones with Tyquan Thornton, Kendrick Bourne, and Jacoby Myers. The wide receiver core is the one that I don't love. Oh, looks like we're good. All right, we're good with me over there. Lamb, Metcalf, Gage, Boyd, Jahan, Myers, Bourne, McKenzie, Tyquan, Guyton. We're hoping we can get their volume, but definitely don't like that wide receiver core. Let's take a look at team Glue Eater over here. Kelsey, Andrews. So going to dominate the tight end position and secured that if either one of them has like a groundbreaking season or both of them have a groundbreaking season, no one else has them. So that's the bully tight end strategy, right? Running backs. James Conner, Breece Hall. Oh, wrong way. James Conner, Breece Hall, Stevenson, Spiller, Chris Evans. One thing I'll say is I actually like the picks of Breece Hall, Stevenson, Spiller, and Chris Evans. I actually think that's a really good foursome. The Connor one I don't love, but actually got him at like an okay value. I would have loved it if you went with Etienne here, though. Or Etienne, yeah. Etienne, Hall, Stevenson, Spiller, Evans, I would have agreed with more. Doesn't take wide receiver till round 6. Elijah Moore, London, Tony, Wilson, Landry, Corey Davis, Hamler, Bell, Washington. Young, definitely. London, a rookie. Tony, unproven, but I love that pick. I was upset when that pick happened. And I like the Elijah Moore pick. Wilson, rookie. Landry, that's a fine pick. It's like fine, but I just don't think reaching on both of them is going to work out in the long run. I'm very curious, though. I want to like watch this team throughout the season and like see what happens to it, but not in love. Azoma's getting paid so much more. Shouldn't we follow the money? So much more than Conklin? They both got paid. That doesn't mean they're going to use him in the receiving game, though. They could still use him as a blocker. They could use him in other areas. And need I not remind you that Jonnu Smith made a lot of money for New England and did nothing. So initial reports are still that Conklin's doing better. Again, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I'm just doing this draft tonight. Already feel the voice going away. We are up to 7 videos a week now. There will be a Sunday video from now until week 1. So I do have to record every single day. And I've already recorded today. I will be recording again tomorrow. I do need to be able to breathe. So I'm going to answer your questions. Throw it in there. Just ton of questions right now. We'll see if we can get to those. I wanted to make sure so it looks like the other draft is stalling out, which was what I figured was going to happen. That's why we had to start this one. But questions. We'll answer that. Watson's getting 8 games. It's supposed to be a 2 to 8 game suspension. What 2 to 8 games? 2 to 8 games. That's like saying he's either going to be suspended or not be suspended. So yeah, I saw I think it was today, maybe it was yesterday on the Pat McAfee show. They had Rappaport, I think, on, who is nowhere as good as Levitan, my God, Adam Schefter. But he was basically saying, like, no one knows. Like, people who are reporting things are basically like, they'll hear from like Watson's camp that they're thinking this, or they're hearing from one side that they're thinking this. It doesn't matter. Like, none of those reports are valid. One of them's going to be right, and people are going to be like, oh, told you so. But that's just because we've heard 2 games, we've heard 4 games, we've heard 8 games, 6 games, whole season, 12 weeks. We've heard every single projection. And so, oh, okay. I am on the board with someone. We've heard every projection, so someone's going to sit there and be like, oh, I'm right. But, it's obviously someone's going to be right when everyone's doing those projections, but it's all what the judge thinks. And then apparently there's a report today that he's going to sue the league if they give him like the full suspension, which like there's no way that works out for him. There's no way in the world that he sues the league and the league's like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Like we're gonna settle here. We're giving you 4 games. Like whatever the decision comes in, the league is going like the league wants the high end. And if he's suspending, it means it was on the high end. The league isn't giving into that. Like they know it's a PR nightmare if he gets 4 games. So they're hoping the judge comes back with more than that. But if it comes out and it's like 12 games and he like tries to appeal that, tries to like sue the league wants a large suspension to hold. And that's why I don't think that would really end up working out. And I do think it's going to be a large suspension, but nobody knows. Anyone tells you they don't know until we actually know in full. So someone pointed out, I'm going to do a slow draft like every single day. Today, it was because we had the stream. So I'm not going to do that. Like I'm not going to do a slow draft on the stream as well. I technically did by accident. It's up in the upper left corner over here. But this is one I did yesterday. Started off Dalvin Cook at 8. Got Joe Mixon at 17. I believe that was a really, really nice value. Looks like, unfortunately, I would have loved Keenan Allen, Michael Pittman Jr., A.J. Brown. They all come off the board. Etienne's off the board. It looks like, well, Pitts will be on there. We just missed out on those wide receivers. Okay. So let's see. Running backs. No. At 32, I'm not taking any of these players. Again, Alvin Kamara would be our consideration. I guess technically I could go with Kamara here. I don't think I'm going to do that. Wide receiver, Mike Evans is a good pick here. It'll probably be what I end up doing. Again, I already have Dalvin Cook and Joe Mixon. So if I'm going with a running back here, it's a running back that's like at a really good value. Tight end, like I said, Pitts. I would rather take Mike Williams than Pitts. And then quarterback is Josh Allen. I'm not going to do that. Pretty pleased with Mike Williams being there. So there we have it. Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, Mike Williams. I don't think I'm on the clock in any other ones. I can show you my team, I think. Let's go to this draft. So this is my team in the one that we already have. So that's useless for you, up in 11 picks. That's the only other one, I think. Oh, I can show you the other draft we did as well that I did earlier today. But keep firing away with the questions, and I'll try and answer those like in bulk here. Where am I? Oh, okay, I'm the first pick. So this is one that's a slow draft from like a few days ago, I think. Running backs, Jonathan Taylor, and that's it. So I abandoned it for a while because I didn't see any value. Tight end, I went with Mark Andrews at 212. That seemed like a really good value at the time. And then I just started loading out wide receivers, T. Higgins, Allen Robinson, Jerry Jeudy, Russell Gage. Then I went with 2 stacks, Wilson stacked with Jeudy, Stafford stacked with Allen Robinson. This is a team I feel really good about. I'm definitely going to do 2 total tight ends, so only going to draft 1 more tight end. I'm going to need running backs, but I've basically decided at this point, I want this to assume that Jonathan Taylor has this like record-breaking season, that I graphed some pass catching backs, some like okay backs here, but like I'm just centering this team around Jonathan Taylor, and that I want quarterback to be awesome every week, tight end to be awesome, wide receiver to be awesome, and just like hope that Jonathan Taylor does like fantastic things for me. So that's that pick over there. All right, questions, and then we're done here. It's incredibly warm as well. What is the temperature outside? It's only down to 82 now, but it was up to like 90 something degrees today. So it's very warm in this room. CH or Miles Sanders in half PPR scoring. I'm pretty sure they're projected like identically. CH 170 for the projection. Miles Sanders 182.9. So Miles Sanders by a hair. You're really just hoping one of them hits their upside though. Why'd we stop stat of the day and will we bring it back? No, I'm not bringing it back. It takes a long time. If you guys want a billion rankings, you want them constantly updated, I'm going to have to do the notes at some point, 7 videos a week with a bunch of like strategy articles and premium videos on like deck. It just takes a while to do. And some people just like hated it. Some people were very against that of the day. So no, I'm not doing it yet. It just takes too much time to like keep doing that and remembering to put it into the videos, and just like extends the video out. I like when the videos are just short and sweet. We're into the video. My goal each time is to make the intro like 30 seconds. And we start adding stat of the day. Like I can get like 2.5 minutes into the video before the actual video even starts. I don't like that as much. So that's the answer. Do you think Melvin Gordon is a real factor for the Broncos offense by the halfway point of the season? Basically saying, do you think he's going to get phased out? No, I don't think he's going to get phased out. I think they want to keep Javonte Williams healthy, not only this season, but for the long term. And if they're featuring Williams and they have Melvin Gordon there, like Melvin Gordon has still been fine. He's been a fine running back. He has had 0 seasons where he's been like terrible. They trust him near the goal line. They trust him in pass protection in the passing game. There's no reason other than like they want Javonte out there every play. And it's like, I guess there's just no need. There's no need to feature Javonte Williams from their eyes because they want him long term to like work out for the team. And it's like Melvin Gordon's still fine. If they didn't have Melvin Gordon and they only had like Mike Boone, maybe there's a chance, yeah, they just feature Williams. But I just think because they want to keep him fresh, keep him healthy, it just makes sense to keep using him. Is it going to be 50-50? Probably not, but probably like 65-35, you know? And it's going to be different in like the receiving game. It's going to be more targets filtered to Williams so they can kind of get him that work as well. What's your process for making your projections if I wanted to go through do projections? Do you go team by team, game by game, or is there an Excel sheet that runs? No, don't. I don't go game by game. I haven't even built out the like regular season, like how I'm going to do each week. That's going to be a little bit more complex. It's really, so you have to start at the team level and say, what do I think the overall volume for this team is going to be? How many plays are they going to run? What's their split, passing and rushing? How pass heavy they're going to be like in the red zone, things like that. Touchdowns, what's the split kind of there? Once you have like that kind of like overall team level data, well, then you now go to the player level. And so you say, okay, this team's going to run this many plays, be this efficient. Well, not really with the efficiency part yet. But you want to look at the quarterback that they have, look at the players that they have, and start projecting. You can't project someone for 90% catch rate, right? You can't project someone for 20 yards per reception. And so when you kind of go through and you give people what they have historically, what you expect a season from growth, give them, yards per reception, give them catch percentages, then you start saying, okay, how heavily is this player going to be used in the red zone versus this player? How heavily is this player going to be used in general for targets? And you just start divvying everything up. And then eventually you've taken the total volume you expect and you've given it to everyone. And from there, it's just an adjusting game. If I think someone's going to get more volume than before, well, who am I taking that away from? Because obviously everything still has to add up to 100%. So that's how you kind of do it. You can do it in Python. You can do it in R. You can do it in Excel, Google Sheets. You can do it in any format you want. I will say this, theoretically, it's better to do in a coding language, but visually, if you want to go in and make changes, stick to Excel. I don't use Excel, but stick to like Google Sheets because it's just like easier to visualize everything. For me to come over here, you guys can't see it, but I can pull up the projections. I can go right to the Titans. I can see everything, and I can change someone from Burks getting 18.5% target share. I can bump him down to 18.25. I can go over and like export that, import it to a different sheet, and it'll just auto update every single projection on the website. It'll update people around him. It'll update everything. You also need to make sure that it's like, if I change the projection on Treylon Burks, it also changes the projection on Ryan Tannehill. So if I make Burks worse in like his catch percentage, all that stuff, it needs to also translate into Tannehill. If that makes sense. I can't make one worse and like Tannehill still throws the same number of passes, throws the same number of passes, fine, but like throws the same number of yards, and I have less yards for Burks. So they need to like do that basically. Non-PPR. Where does Jameson Williams fit among wide receivers? Of course, it's a non-PPR question. All right. I don't know why I did it this way. This is a much slower way to bring things up. All right, I'll pull up standard. He's actually probably a player that's totally fine in standard. I'm not projecting like an insane target share. He's going to have big plays, more of a yardage guy than a reception guy. So he's actually not bad in standard scoring. I have him as like a mid 10th round pick. And yeah, it looks like he's better in standard scoring than he is. So he's a mid 10th round pick in standard. Let's pull up wide receiver in full PPR. He's a mid 11th round pick. He's actually 1 round better in standard. Team 5 or team 10, a 3 wide receiver start. That'd be a completed draft. Oh, you guys want to see? You guys want to see this? So this is the exposures. If you guys were wondering what players I like end up getting, looks like I've drafted 23 teams. Quarterback, if you're building out a portfolio, is just going to be relatively condensed. You're going to have, or is condensed the right word? Not condensed. It's going to be spread out. You're going to get little bits of every single quarterback. Running back, wide receiver, you're going to get higher percentages because like there's so many wide receivers, but like quarterback, like you're kind of doing stacks and everything. So it's going to work out to where it's like there's a decent amount of quarterbacks you've gotten. Looks like Aaron Jones. I feel like you guys can watch the videos and understand that I like Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, top player. Hines, Chase Edmonds, Nick Chubb. Chubb, just because there was a stretch where like maybe his ADP's up a little bit more, but like he was going like sometimes in like the mid to late third round, like just something crazy. So you have to scoop that ballot when you can. Eckler, because I feel like I get a mid first round pick in every single draft. Like I feel like I never get. How many times? I have one draft where I got McCaffrey, and like two, because it's a $25 and a $5, two drafts where I got Jonathan Taylor. Like I cannot get these like early picks. It's ridiculous. This is the big one, Wan'Dale. So if you were asking me who I end up getting a ton, Wan'Dale Robinson is like my most owned player. I just got him in so many drafts when, I mean, he was like free at the beginning of the summer. I get him less now because ADPs are up. But yeah, him, Thornton, it's all these late guys that are just like so easy to get. Yeah, so those are exposures there. And then tight end, I feel like these should make sense. I get less Waller now, although I guess 17% isn't like crazy. Like all these guys are pretty similar there. But yeah, I thought that would be interesting for you guys to look at. Would you rather start with CMC and Jamar or CMC and Swift? So would I rather Jamar or Swift? Jamar. If someone who does multiple leagues for big money, should I be concerned about over-investing in one player? Like say I get lucky, I get the first pick in 4 out of 7 leagues. Yes. So if you're in 7 leagues and they're all high dollar leagues and you're trying to build out a portfolio like you do on Underdog, notice my percentages here. 47% is huge. A lot of these players are like 20 something percent, right? So if you're in 7 leagues, that's what? Isn't it like 14%? 14% would be like 1 out of 7, then maybe like 28% would be 2 out of 7. So late picks, it's fine if you really believe in like a late breakout, but especially like first, second, third, fourth round picks, it's very, very risky to draft someone in, like you said, 4 out of 7 leagues, because if they get hurt, like your whole season is cooked, and that's not great. Like, yes, we evaluate players and we want to like invest heavily in those players that we really feel good about. But I would say, yeah, if you're in more than like if you're in 3 leagues, you want to draft someone in 2 of them, by all means do it. As soon as you get into 4, 5, 6 leagues, you don't want to go over like 50%, because then just like, even if it's a great pick, they can turn out to be like a bad pick, I guess. I was answering that question though. Which was the draft we just did? Was it this one or this one? All right, it was this draft. View the full draft. Bring it up. Team 3 or 5? What? Oh, 5 or 10. Okay, I was going to say what? Okay, so team 5 starts off 3 wide receivers. Team 10 starts off 3 running backs. They're asking, which one do we prefer? Chase, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, or Mike Williams, Juju, Rondell. It's not a lot of wide receivers, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wide receivers. One of them being Odell, is probably not playing until Christmas. So really you have 6 wide receivers most of the season. You have to start 3 every week. So a little thin there. Running backs, didn't take one until round 6. Mitchell, Harris, Gainwell, Algier, Mack, Robinson. I don't love this team, for being honest. Team 10, Henry, Mixon, Etienne, abandons for a while, Gus. Love it. Sutton, Bateman, Devonta Smith, Robert Woods, Olave, Jameson Williams, Palmer, Terrace Marshall. Not bad. And then you got Wilson, Daniel Jones. I wouldn't have drafted Baker there. I don't think it really adds enough to your team. Did you even stack them? Carolina? I guess with Terrace, but that's not a real stack. I would have used the Baker pick for something else. Maybe wide receiver, honestly, because you waited a little bit to get him. Yeah, I would have done the Baker pick differently, but I like Team 10 a lot more than Team 5. If you were to rank the different sites to host a fantasy football league, who would be your top 3? Well, as we all know, NFL is last. I don't care what site you bring to me. NFL.com is last. And I don't like Yahoo. So that's just 2 right out the window. I'm not ever going to join a league that has Yahoo or NFL.com. Sleeper is probably the best. The amount that you're able to customize, the interactional layout, it's just the best. Sleeper's the best format. If you're starting up a league, like, you should just use Sleeper. It's just so much easier. You can do so many things with it. And even just visually, it's better. App's better. I feel like you have to put ESPN next, or at least I do, because it's the one I'm most familiar with. But the app stinks. Even the website stinks. Honestly, just use Sleeper. I'm putting ESPN second because I don't even play on any other formats. I think if you're talking about Underdog with that, I would probably actually put Underdog first. Underdog, then Sleeper, then ESPN. But, I don't know. I hate Yahoo. I hate NFL. And I think ESPN is awful. I would love if my league switched to Sleeper and I just had every league on Sleeper. So there's your answer. CBS Sports, I've never joined one, but I don't think from what I've seen that I like the layout either on that one. Curious why I know Yahoo. You like it. It's just a layout thing. And for me, it's just like a feel. When I'm on a site, I just there's a certain feel, and Yahoo just doesn't feel, I don't know, it just doesn't feel good. I have no idea about the app because I don't have the app, so I can't really say anything there. And maybe they've made progress. I mean, I haven't played on there in 3 years. I think I had a league on there in 3 years ago that I was co-managing. But it's just gross. I don't know. If you haven't played on Sleeper, use it. They don't sponsor. They're never going to sponsor because they don't pay anything. But it's just the best. It's the best platform. It is. Okay. I think that's going to be enough questions for me today. We're coming in on an hour and a half. I'm getting quite tired of talking to you. Tomorrow is draft strategy from a mid-first round pick. So that is 5 through 8. Thursday, we did, your guys suggested Brandon Cooks versus Bateman versus Mooney. So that'll be there. And then Friday will be league-winning wide receivers. I don't even remember. Saturday's the ADP values. And then Sunday, again, there's Sunday videos now. Sunday's going to be undervalued players, something to that effect. I haven't actually decided yet, but that's what it's going to be. So press the like button so we can make me feel a little bit better than having 1,130 total people enter the stream, 112 right now, only 43 likes. That's a depressing ratio. Let's get that higher. If you're new here, I'm shocked because I don't know why you'd be new here on a live stream, but subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the website. Again, 2 wide receiver rankings, 3 wide receiver rankings, and 2 flex rankings. Thanks you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next week on the next Tuesday live stream.